Welcome to Haunted Narratives, where reality meets the supernatural. Prepare to be captivated by spine chilling tales of real life hauntings and paranormal encounters. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss out on a hauntingly good story. So, our next story is Don't Go in the Dark. The story which I am going to narrate is a real life incident which had happened with my mom's aunt. I have heard this story a number of times from my grandmother, my mom, and even from the person who had encountered a vicious spirit in the dark which had ruined her life and happiness. She was my grandmother, but due to her young age, we never called her granny. We used to call her auntie. Today, she is not in this world. May God bless her soul and give her peace. But I want to share with you all her pain and agony. Spirits or demons lurk in the dark and unholy places like ruins of old houses, graveyards, toilets, and don't know where all. One such evil who was in one of the public toilets where my family used to reside first had made lives of many people miserable. No one used to go to that toilet at night, as many a times people had heard someone crying and screeching from within it. Even during daytime, many people had experienced chilling and hair-raising negative vibes inside it. People always avoided to go in that toilet, but on a fateful night, my aunt's life changed when she went in the dark. It was in the year 1983. At that time, there were no personal toilets built inside our houses. All the people in that locality had common toilets. There was a big municipal toilet few meters away from our place, where the most of the people used to go. And just next to our house, in the other lane, where my aunt used to reside with her in-laws, there was an old two-storied building. In that, two common toilets were built on the ground floor and two on the first and second floor. At first, many people who stayed near the building used to go in that ground floor toilets, but with time, people started experiencing negativity and supernatural things over there. At night, they used to hear crying of a woman in a very hoarse voice, and sometimes screeching and wailing used to be heard. The passage of the toilet was so dark that even the sunlight was not penetrable. People who had heard the noises and cries started warning others not to go in that toilet as it was haunted. My aunt, who stayed next to that building, always avoided going there, as even she had heard the cries. My aunt was very happy as she was going to have her second child. Her 7 months of pregnancy had been completed. She was filled with excitement as soon she was going to see the one who was breathing inside her. At that time, my dad and my dad's younger sister had returned from Bahrain. My aunt was very happy as my dad was not present at the time of her first child's birth. My dad and aunt were more like friends rather than brother and sister, as they both had studied together from childhood. My aunt shared a very good relationship with my dad. One day, all my family members had decided to go for a picnic. My aunt had refused from coming as her 8 months of pregnancy had started and she had to take proper care of herself and her baby. But with my dad's incessant request, she agreed to go with them as they were all going in a private bus. My aunt was somewhat like a South Indian actress. She had big round black eyes, always smudged with kajal. Fragrance of mogra flowers always adorned her long, beautiful hair. Even on that day, she got ready as if she was going to attend a wedding. Everyone in my family were happily enjoying their day out. At evening, they got late to return home. They reached around 11 at night. My aunt was about to change. Suddenly, she felt a stomach ache, as she had not been to the toilet the whole day. And due to continuously stopping, she started getting a severe stomach ache. She felt immense pressure in her abdomen. She wanted to call someone to accompany her to the toilet, which was at a distance from our place. But as everyone had returned at that time, they were all busy in changing and getting fresh. So she thought of going in the toilet next to their house, as it was nearby, and she did not wanted anyone to know about it. She was knowing if someone from her family or her mom will come to know about this, they will shout her. So before someone comes, she went slowly to that toilet. As she went near the toilet, the area over there was completely dark. She somehow gathered her courage and went and opened one of the toilets door. It was totally dark inside. She was getting jitters all over her body. But then too she went inside and sat. Suddenly she felt something moving on her back. She was about to scream, but then she realized it was the flower which were giving her that feel. All of a sudden she got goosebumps. She was looking at her hands as she can see visibly the hairs of her hand risen with fear. She thought of coming out quickly, but before she could get up from her place, she felt a sudden forceful push on her hip. Someone kicked her so bad and hard that she flung almost 15 to 20 feet away from the toilet and fell directly on her stomach. With a loud scream, she started calling for help. All the people who had closed their doors and sleeping inside came out rushing after hearing her scream. My dad and my aunt's husband too came out of the house to check. Both of them were filled with horror as they saw my aunt lying upside down in a critical condition and screaming for help. With the help of the people gathered over there, my aunt's husband and my dad took my aunt to a nearby hospital. Doctor was too shocked to see my aunt trembling with pain. They took her in the operation theatre for an urgent delivery. After an hour, doctor came out with a petrified look on his face. He called my aunt's husband and my dad and informed them that the baby was already dead inside the womb. He told my aunt was out of danger but still unconscious. After some time, the doctor came again to my aunt's husband and said him to come in one of the room next to the operation theatre. The doctor was filled with trepidation and was looking nervous. He wanted to say something, but he was not able to open his mouth. He then took my aunt's husband and my dad in the room where the dead child was kept. As they entered the room, they saw on a table a small baby was kept, fully covered in white cloth. The doctor told my aunt's husband that for the first time in his life, he has seen something like this, and while saying so, he opened the cloth from the baby's body. My aunt's husband and my dad were terror-stricken looking at the baby. The baby was lying dead cold with half of its body white in color, while the other part from head to toe it was greenish blue in color. Both my dad and my aunt's husband were shocked. They came quickly out of the room. In the meanwhile, my aunt gained her conscience back. She started asking for her baby. She was crying bitterly to let her see the baby. My aunt's husband consoled her and said that the baby was born dead. She was filled with grief and pain. After 2 days, she came back from the hospital. My great-grandmother, her mom, asked her about the dreadful night. She told her everything what had happened with her and how she was pushed by someone so forcefully from inside the toilet that she fell so far. My great-grandmother then understood that the spirit inside the toilet had done this evil thing. As pregnant women are more prone to evil afflictions, and even my aunt was wearing flowers and perfume which attracted the evil spirit more. She then told my aunt not to think much about the incident and the baby, and again she warned my aunt and everyone in our family saying, "Don't go in the dark." Thank you for listening to my story. Don't go in the dark. For many more haunting stories like this, please do like, share and subscribe to Haunted Narratives. Thank you.